But speaking of film, Brian, there were 3 guys that we were going to highlight. We already talked about them. They're the wide receivers that were on campus. And it was Connor Salmin and it was Jaden Finley. I'm sorry. It was Braden Robinson and Kadon Finley. And so excited to dive into their film, man, and watch it with you and watch it with the rest of the people in the chat, because I watched it by myself in my office yesterday, and it was exciting to see. As thrilled as Lauren was to watch high school juniors fly around the football field yesterday, I'm sure there'll be a little bit more appreciation for it in the chat today. But their film's exciting to watch, man. It's really fun.
Trev, obviously, as you mentioned, we'll go Connor Salmin first. We'll go Braden Robinson second and Kadon Finley third. And I'm essentially looking at it from left to right. Essentially, if I lined up an 11 personnel, deuce right alignment, I'd have Connor as my vertical boundary guy, which we'll talk about. We'll have Braden Robinson as my slot, and then Kadon Finley as my field X receiver. And Connor Salmin, as we're going to talk about, is a very unique player. And I mean, he can play X. He could play Z, excuse me. I keep forgetting. Notre Dame used to call the Z the X and the boundary the W. Now Mike Denbrock's to traditional X is the boundary, Z is the field. But he could play Z, no question. The reason I like him as a boundary guy, just my personal opinion, is because I like boundary guys that are stretch the field, vertical, one-on-one type of players, and that's exactly what he is. Which we'll be diving into here in a minute. Also, as we get into film, guys, if you have some mailbag questions you want us to answer, go ahead and throw those in now, and we'll get to those because we will have a mailbag here at the end. So let's bring up Connor's film, and we'll talk about it. The first thing y'all are going to see here when you start looking at Connor's film is you're going to see a guy that can flat out fly. Let's go here. Let's see more of him and less of us. How about that? How does that sound? I think that sounds great.
Works for me, man.
But that's the thing is you're going to see is this is a young man that can flat out fly. Can everybody see that? Just make sure that everybody can see that here real quick. This is a kid that can flat out run. And Notre Dame, what is one thing that we know for a fact that Notre Dame needs more of in their offense, and that is speed. He's a Northern Virginia kid. Here you see him in the slot and just can go. Just outrunning the defense. Plays against good competition. His speed is different. I mean, he is a vertically oriented, off the line, just eat you. I mean, just look how quickly he gets on top of this cornerback. This is eating up the cushion in a hurry. Nice long strides off the line. Eats up the competition really in a hurry and just boom over the top. Look at that, though. This is one thing that I really liked is he plays the ball in the air very well. Go ahead, Trev.
I was going to say he tracks the ball extremely, extremely well. Very well. And
look at that. He's going inside the hash. Quarterback throws the ball outside properly, actually. I think the quarterback, if the quarterback throws it over top where Connor was kind of headed, it's a tougher angle to get that ball thrown. He throws it up over the hash, and he tracks it very well and makes a very clean catch. So this is a really impressive play. Sticks his hands out, makes the catch. This is kind of what he does. Just runs really fast and catches the ball very well. Great concentration there, but just look how quickly he gets off the line. He really explodes off the line.
Yeah.
He's got tons of speed.
After this clip, I'm pretty sure they show it from the other angle to show the contested catch that he made. Yeah.
Great concentration there with that kind of coverage. Again, Trev, I mean, there's not a lot here other than just speed. Meaning, that came out wrong. There's like a lot to talk about, but like you don't have to go very far beyond speed to love this kid. Is what I'm trying to say. The speed alone makes him a guy you want to have. And then you add in the other things, and that's what makes him, to me, a top 100 player. He's not ranked as a top 100 player by nationally, but he is by Brian Driscoll because he does have those other attributes. Look at that. Even this, he actually catches this ball away from his body. He doesn't extend it, but he does. And then look at the ability to make people miss it. He's not a tight-hipped vertical guy where he can't do anything but run vertical. He can do things after the catch, but he goes from 0 to 100 in a hurry. Even like his motions are fast. Like he even looks fast when he's going in motion, Trevor. Like this kid's a game changer in my opinion. Like he's a pure game changer. Yeah,
man. I mean, his acceleration off the line's fantastic on that slant play where he broke the tackle. I mean, the linebacker that was in pursuit of him had the angle, and he outran the angle from almost a dead stop.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a fast kid. Fast kid, tracks the ball well, high points it relatively well, makes good contested catches. He has soft hands too. I mean, the film's very promising. Pretty decent route runner too for being a junior in high school. You know, that's always my fear. And I said the same thing about Braden Robinson in the notes that I had. You always kind of wonder how fast kids are going to do in route running, because in high school, a lot of times you just kind of blow by kids, you know, and Salmon's a pretty good route runner for his age, right?
He's got a good foundation.
Yeah.
He's got a good foundation to work with, no question. And nice ball tracking. There's a lot to like about this kid.
They have a play call in here where they motion him in the same, and then they run a whip. Yep, there it is.
There you go. Reverse pivot. Love it. Love it.
Jeez.
Plays defense, a little bit of defense.
Yeah.
Why
Takes us back to the crib. I was about to say. Man. Yeah, his speed's on display. Put it back at safety, let him go up in high point. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can see it. This kid can absolutely fly. Absolutely fly. And he's listed at 6'1", 190. That's close. He seems a tad taller than that to me. Trevor, just kind of seen him around other prospects, but, you know, 6'1", 190, strong kid. Again, can play other positions, but I just love him in the boundary for what Mike Denbrock likes to do. Like, you think about some of the things he did last year, like Brian Thomas in the boundary. I'm not saying Connor is Brian Thomas. What I'm saying is there were things you could do with Brian Thomas you couldn't do with Bo Collins and Jaden Thomas, because they don't have the same kind of just take the top off speed that you'll be able to do with Connor Salmin, the way you will be able to do with Malachi Fields and guys like that. And that's why I like him in the boundary. Just a guy that can just do some of those things. But he's not a guy you have to just line up there and leave him there all day. Because as I broke down when Mike Denbrock was hired, he moved Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas around all year last year. Yeah, they had a starting point of where they were, but they moved them around a ton. I've seen Brian Thomas catch slot fades. I've seen Malik Neighbors catch slot fades. I saw Chris Hilton catch slot fades. They would move guys around and play them. But this right here, you know, catching the hitch and then squaring guys up, making people miss, that stuff is translatable to me. And he brings a lot of that to the table. And this play right here, Notre Dame, get the ball in the outside arm, son. You know, but this is something that Notre Dame did a lot of with their boundary guy. Now, this is him doing it in the field, right? But they did this with Bo Collins a lot this year. Bo Collins caught more of these little tunnel now screens than anybody else on the roster. And that's, you know, that's what I think this kid does. So I think there's a lot of what he does really translates well to the boundary position that Notre Dame, how Notre Dame uses the boundary position. But I also love the fact that Mike Denbrock doesn't just stick people into the boundary and that's all they do. And can I say something else? If you're a receiver and you want to impress me, put blocking highlights on your film.
Yes.
Like, that tells me something about you, that you're you know what I mean? Like, I was talking with somebody yesterday and you start talking about Chris Mitchell and didn't have the year that he had, but, you know, goes out into the national championship game and he's playing well. But, like, what's the biggest play he made? It wasn't a catch. It was him blocking 25 yards downfield after Jaden Greathouse just made Caleb Downs look silly. And that's the difference between a 25-yard gain that gives them first and goal against the second best red zone defense of college football, or a 34-yard touchdown. You know, that team player type of thing. And I don't know why you'd kick to this kid.
I was about to say kicking to him was a choice.
Yeah, this is not a great one. Not a great one.
Yeah, another thing I like about him, too, is he gets his shoulder square really quickly when he catches those now screens, which I appreciate. I mean, he's going to be a fun player to watch.
Yes, no matter where he goes. And hopefully he ends up at Notre Dame. As we talked about earlier, I think Notre Dame's definitely one of the top schools for him, but there's a lot of closing to be done with him, Trevor. There's definitely a lot of closing to be done. That's Connor Salmin, guys. You see the film. Very, very impressive player.